So, King Belial, Demon King Belial, is extremely unique and interesting spirit to work with, and working with him has many unique characteristics which are absent from work with other spirits. So let's first examine the name Belial, which means the worthless one. So what is practical implication of it is that he teaches primal ways of sorcery, and he also teaches equally to everybody. In a way, if he accepts you as his pupil, he will push you and teach you really hard, and he is harsh teacher to all he teaches. Now, there is one thing I need to inform people about him, is that he is really, how should I say, chaotic force. You cannot relax while you work with him, because as soon as you relax, he will create something in your life or create some shift in behavior which will shock you, traumatize you a little bit, and force you to adapt. When you expect him to be really aggressive, he won't be so aggressive. But when you expect him to be really kind and relax, he will after some time show his nasty side. And he teaches through action. He is not one of the spirits who likes to explain things theoretically. He will present you a situation or a task which you need to complete, which will actually teach you a lesson. And in regard to Belial, Belial, he is a really strong opponent of organized religion. And now I will actually explain mechanics of his opposition. So, the reason why he opposes religions is because, according to him, mainstream religions like Buddhism, Christianity, official branches of Hinduism, Islam, all of those religions have intoxicating component to them. They make you feel euphoric and quote unquote happy and quote unquote unified with the divine, and you feel short-term euphoria generated by their rites and their methodologies, and that way you are pacified. But in reality, within mostly mainstream religions, the few of them confront you with the darkness of the self. Those who confront you with the darkness of the self actually aren't mainstream. So all of those religions technically creates is a spiritually handicapped individual, because they focus only on one spectrum of light and one benevolent aspect of the psyche, which creates an individual incapable of harnessing his own predatory impulses. And that results in a society which is deeply susceptible to any kind of manipulation and delusion, because they are technically internally divided, internally conflicted, and weakened because they are unable to harness their own predatory potential. Now, how Belial's opposition work to that system? He will do three things. The first thing he will do is he will awaken your predatory potentials in a really primal way, so you can harness those potentials and use them in your sorcery and in your magic. The second way he does it is he destroys your patterns and habits in a really aggressive way. But in order for this pattern to be destroyed, he will traumatize you. And the third way he does this is to physically and literally exposing the corruption within a religious structure. And through those three main ways or main techniques, he destroys those structures and religions. And one of his main goals is to create a new, more primal, more warlike, and more self-aware humanity. Now, he can also teach you work with the 9 energy centers below the root chakra. If you don't know, energy centers or chakras are much more numerous than it is taught in modern New Age schools. In modern New Age schools, you study only 7 energy centers. But in reality, you actually have 25 really strong and prominent energy centers. 9 are located below the root, 7 are located from the root chakra to the crown chakra, 5 are located at the back of your head, and the 5 are located above your head. So you have 5 above your head, 9 below your root chakra, 7 chakras you know already about, and 5 at the back of your head, 5 smaller energy centers. They are also many more minor energy centers, but they are not so important. So Belial teaches you to harness power of the 9 energy centers below the root chakra. Those energy centers are responsible for primal animalistic impulses. Harnessing them should be really, how should I say? It should be really cautious, because if you harness power of those centers without proper preparation, you can become a psychopath. But if you harness them correctly, it will greatly enhance your health, it will greatly enhance your power, and it will greatly enhance your self-awareness, as well as your ability to be grounded. Thanks for watching, and hail Belial. I will make many more videos about him in the future. Just to summarize, work with Belial, question the religious structure, destroy your habits, stimulate your chakras below the root, work towards your own empowerment, and you will become what you need to be. Bye. Tonight we will give you full tutorial how to evoke demonic king Belial, and we will also talk about some really important things. We will talk about how to properly perform evocation safely without attracting egregores, and we will also talk about Astral Senses development exercise, which is fundamental for your spiritual evolution. Firstly, we will talk about Astral Senses and what they actually are. Astral senses are senses which allow man to perceive spiritual reality. Those are inherently embedded senses in a human being which allow him to perceive the metaphysical and experience the higher state of being. Now, development of those senses is fundamental for the practitioner of black magic or any kind of spirituality. Without those senses, spirituality does not exist. If we do not have those senses, all our talk about spirituality is simply gimmick, scam, or performance. There is no real value in a man who claims to be spiritual, yet doesn't have astral senses developed to a decent extent so he can perceive the metaphysical. We live in a world full of pretenders who claim to possess spiritual knowledge, yet their astral senses are pathetic. If you cannot perceive the hidden realm, you cannot talk about hidden realm. If you have no astral senses, then sorry boy, you are simply pretending, and your words can end in any trash can. No spirit cares about your metaphysical speculations. Spirituality is experience, it is not theory. Spirituality is practice, it is not form. Spirituality is a lifestyle, not a claim or a title. Now, I will give you simple exercise to develop your astral senses. Visualize the ball of black light in front of your forehead, radiating and penetrating your forehead. You can also push this exercise and visualize the light coming at the back of your head, where the skull and neck meet. If you perform more complex version of this exercise I talked about right now, you will stimulate not only the third eye, which is responsible for visual experience of spirits and feeling of energy, but you will also stimulate the two energy centers at the back of your head, which are known as the mouth of God. Those centers are responsible for hearing of spirits. How you do this exercise? It is important to visualize this until you feel slight headache from the visualization. That's when you stop. Because in this exercise, you are visualizing and connecting with the forces of Black Sun. The Black Sun is the purest and the most powerful form of energy in black magic. If that force is exposed to the energy bodies too much, it can lead to shock, disintegration, insanity, and death. So, at the signal of first headache, stop doing the exercise and make a pause. End the exercise. While you visualize, repeat the following magical chant. Belam solis negratiel. Belam solis negratiel. Belam solis negratiel. Heva heyade hayatayn. Belial, 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 Yanoda haraterute, Arniferu maratasi. Belial, rise the sacred space for the beginning of this rite. Belial, hernuatarat. After you repeat this hymn, you should visualize the black sun above your crown chakra, radiating black light and penetrating the edges of your sacred space until dense green dark energy starts arising from the space, from the edges of your space, creating the circle of protection around you, so spirits you summon can enter without risk of impostors appearing. As you can hear, this magical hymn calls Demon King Belial to raise the sacred space. You will see the chants on the screen. Now, Once you know how to raise the sacred space, I need to elaborate that just like in Astral Senses development exercise, visualizing the black sun and his rays is extremely important. The black sun is a magical tool which will impose destruction upon your astral space, necessary for the dark energies of Lord Belial and Earth to rise and protect you from all and any impostor who is trying to interfere and intervene with your right. The black sun in this visualization above the crown will also purify your energy bodies, energy fields, and aura, creating extremely powerful purification effect. This rising of the sacred space is also really potent for opening of the psychic abilities, just like previous exercise. So you can combine this rising of the sacred space and the previous exercise to create a synergistic effect, which is really powerful. First, raise the sacred space using this method. Then, use exercise to open your third eye. That way, you will really empower yourself profoundly. Remember that in order to raise the space, you need to repeat this hymn you heard and you see on the screen, together with the visualizing black sun above your crown. And it is my recommendation that you should first raise the space and then do Astral Senses development exercise. So today we will also give you 2 magical chants for summoning Belial, and those are Ha Belial Ha Shedim Belial Heva Heyo Daryamna Ha Belial Ha Shedi Belial Heva Heyo Daryamna. So, repeat those 2 magical chants one after another within the sacred space, which is raised as I previously explained, and Belial, the demonic king, the lawless one, will appear, and you will feel his energy, you will feel his power, and be able to communicate with him. Evoking him within decently raised and fortified sacred space according to the provided instructions is extremely easy. It's not difficult at all. You simply need to raise it as described, have developed astral senses as described, and repeat those 2 magical chants as instructed. You will feel his energy, you will feel his power. For first few evocations of Lord Belial, you shouldn't ask him for favors, just ask him to empower you and infuse you with his energy. Start working, have dignity, don't bow to him, don't allow him to piss on you, have dignity, have ability, and you will receive his knowledge and wisdom, and you will also prosper materially, spiritually, and physically in your health, wealth, and spiritual power if you listen to his advice or guidance. But you need to understand that Belial or Belial can be extremely aggressive and demanding, especially towards males. But he can also be extremely protective, because extreme protection and aggression are 2 polarities of the same thing. It is same force manifesting in 2 different ways. If it is testing you, then it is aggressive. If it is protecting you and guarding you, then it is protective. But it is more or less the same force. I have 1 more magical chant for you. But before we talk about this last chant for today, we need to talk about one really important thing, which is visualization during evocation. So a lot of people instruct incorrectly that you should visualize during your evocation. And visualization during evocation without proper training and preparation is a really risky thing to do. You can really easily, through visualization during evocation, create egregores and imposters, and you won't know what you are doing. You will create parasitic being which will leech off you and fuck you and fuck up your energy centers and the entire being. And there is a really simple method how to prevent this. First, raise the sacred space properly through the methodology found within the video, and then repeat the magical chants until you build up the energy of the spirit pretty well, until you are undeniably aware of his presence. If you don't have astral senses developed, use the astral senses development exercise given to you in the beginning of the video, and practice that exercise for a few weeks within the sacred space raised by the method provided also within this video, in order to open up your astral senses. Once your astral senses are strong enough, you can definitely proceed to call King Belial in your evocation rite. Your raising of the sacred space rite is not designed to call King Belial. It is, however, designed to raise his energy so it can protect you. How do you know your astral senses are developed enough to call and work with King Belial? First, you will have flashbacks and visions during the day and extremely intense dreams. Second, you will be able to feel your own energy of objects, energy of people and things. When you are able to feel those things, then you can proceed with the spiritual evocation. Now, let's return to the evocation ritual. You raise the sacred space and you repeat the magical chants until you build up the energy of the spirit. Once that happens, once you feel energy of the spirit intensely, then you can visualize, and that will actually connect you to the power of the spirit you are trying to summon. Otherwise, if you just visualize without proper sacred space or without building up the energy of the spirit soon and first, you will definitely, if you don't take proper preparation, attract imposters or egregores, or you will just talk to your head if you use visualization without proper preparation. So be careful. I know a lot of other occultists and occult teachers teach differently than I, but this is definitely proven, tested, and most safe method to communicate and call spirits in general, especially Belial. Now, what about dismissing King Belial? How it is done? Truly, Belial cannot be banished in a real way, not even by Solomonic magician, who swears in power to banish and exorcise spirits. Even they have really hard time banishing Belial. So instead of banishing Belial rudely, you should simply speak to him in his sacred space near the end of your ritual, and you should politely ask in the words provided: Lord Belial, King of the lawless, Emperor of disobedient, ruler of violence and protection, King of anarchy and tyranny, ruler of the earth and the underworld, O Belial, I call you to leave my sacred space in peace, and your fortress will rise again in my life. O Belial, you will be summoned again, and truly and powerfully come to me in my next evocation. And then tell him the date of your next evocation. If you do not plan to evoke him next time, if you consider working is finished, first you need to ask Belial for permission. If you don't have astral senses developed enough to hear him, you can, before evoking him further, use exercise provided in the beginning of this video in more complex form in order to develop astral hearing. If you want to communicate with him without being able to hear him, you can ask him to send visions in your mind, or synchronicities after the ritual. He will indeed do it. Now, after you addressed him with respectable words, draw his sigil and spit upon the sigil, and give him your spit as an offering. This actually works pretty well. This is act of a little bit strong sense of will and strong sense of self. You are offering your saliva to Belial, and you are also telling him that he will not easily get your blood, your life essence. In order to receive and get your life essence, he has to prove that he is worthy of working with you as a lawless one, as somebody who wants to work with Belial. You need to be the lawless one. You need to be without Lord. You need to be without overlord. You need to be capable to look at spirits as an equal, as somebody who knows how much he has to learn, but also as somebody who knows that he should be respected by the spirits and men, and that he cannot be controlled. Only if you have this attitude, your work with Belial is beneficial, and will be. Otherwise, Belial will try definitely to test you and harden you until you obtain this attitude. So, after you spitted on his sigil and offered to him your saliva, address him once again in the following manner. I gave you offering you deserved. To prove yourself, O Belial, give me strong synchronicity. Give me strong sign that you want to work with me further. I have no master. I aspire for freedom. And prove me that you have came as a liberator, not as a tyrant, and leave my space. As I promised, I will call you again, and then meditate in his energy until Belial leaves. I have one last chant for you for tonight. Mortis Belial Barim Mortis Belial Balim Mortis. This chant can be used to call any spirit under the ruleship of Belial, if you know the name of the spirit. So just replace Belial's name with the name of the spirit who serves under Belial you are trying to summon. You will also see a chant on the screen. Thank you for following and listening to this extensive tutorial about evoking Belial. Thank you for watching, and see you tomorrow in the loveless deed and the loveless power. So in this video I will explain you a little bit advanced ritual for opening a temporary portal to the Belial's realm. This portal is designed to bombard the world we live in with glyphotic energy, and I will shortly explain how you should open this portal. Now, chants for opening the portal and text of those chants is pronounced in the later part of this video, and in description of this video you will find the chants written down. Now, in this part of the video I will explain what you should do before you try to open portal like this. First, you should have astral senses developed and to be able to feel spirits and hear them. Then you should have working relationship with Belial before you try doing something like this. If you have working relationship with Belial and astral senses developed, then follow the following procedure to open this temporary portal. Go somewhere where you shouldn't be disturbed.
potentially on some energetic charged place like graveyard or abandoned building, or you can even go into nature on some potently charged place. Then turn to the direction of the north, light 2 green candles, and between them put the sigil of Belial. Then call Belial, summon him up, and then tell him you want to open this portal. Now, after you tell him you want to open this portal, do the following. Imagine the black light behind your third eye or Ajna chakra, call it however you want. And then push that black light from your third eye into the singular point. After you made a stable visualization of this, start chanting the chants provided in this video. And Belial's energy will mix with the black light from your third eye, and it will open a portal on that singular spot you focus your energy on. So more energy you focus on this ritual and more you chant, the bigger will portal be. And this is a really simple ritual to do. You don't have to use 2 green candles and Belial's sigil, but it will empower the rite further. This rite is also extremely alchemically beneficial for sorcerer who is performing it, and it empowers astral body, physical body, and mental faculties as well. Belial's energy has multiple beneficial effects to people. It helps people to have stronger bodies, it diminishes the effects of tyranny, it weakens the energy of the Christian God. So all in all, if you're capable of performing this ritual, this is a really potent alchemical rite indeed. Opening of portals like this will also protect women from sexual abuse, especially women who are the members of the witch blood and linked to demonic current. Opening of those portals will help women to be protected from unpleasant forms of sexual trauma and harassment, and it will help Belial to protect those women through those portals. Opening those portals will also make people more approachable to Belial's legions, so it will make easier for Belial to actually reach out to people. And this will kinda influence the consciousness of humanity in a really big way. So I tested this out 3 or 4 times, and it worked every time for me, so I also decided to make this public. Follow the instructions, chant the chants, be focused, and developed enough to do this, and you will have really good results. Proceed with the ritual if you're interested. Belial Tahinumani, 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 Belial Adedina, 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 Belial Hilunade, 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 Anilveda Belial, 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 Yada 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 Belial, Hediu Belial daze, 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 Hediu Belial daze. Belial, open a portal to your realm of lawlessness. Open a portal with your infernal hosts. Open a portal to empower my kind. Bombard this realm with the energies of darkness. Open a portal, Belial. Open the gate so that your energy can enter this world. Open this temporary gate with my help. I, as a lawless sorcerer, open gate into your realm through the power of those words. O the lawless one. Belial anejda yerud tabe.